Harold Fannin is probably one of my favorite tight ends in the draft, just regardless of where you're going to be drafting them at. And when it comes to tight ends, I've gotten really keenly kind of an idea that's jumped to the forefront of my mind recently when it comes to these tight ends, that some of these tight ends that become like some of the really great ones and really turn into being really like not just difference makers, but almost kind of all-timer type guys at the tight end position, that they all have something kind of just weirdly unique to them and something that's just a little bit of a kind of curveball attribute they have to what they bring. And Antonio Gates had just a way he moved on the field that wasn't like other normal tight ends. The athleticism to the size of Tony Gonzalez with his basketball background and what that allowed him to do in changing direction for his size and the hands that I think it helped him to develop and being that kind of guy and playing power forward and being able to box guys out. He brought that kind of weird about Gronk with as stiff as he was. There's just something about even in his stiffness, he could just make it happen. And he was so big and just unusual in that way. And then I look at Fannin and he's built in a very much a weird kind of fashion. He's got kind of a inverse bow-legged thing. It's almost like Kenny Smith of basketball, where you practically expect his knees to be rubbing together a little bit when he walks. And he builds on this strong 2023 to 2024, goes over 100 catches. And then in addition to having the knees kind of be like this when he runs, it also looks like he's kind of cross-country skiing when he's running. It's the weirdest thing. But it also, in another way, then helps him for what's some of the best stuff that he does, which great pass catcher, can make all of the great catches, but then he's an exceptional yak guy. He's a guy that can make the grab and he can break a tackle in a variety of different ways. He can juke around you. He can give you just a stiff arm. He's able to just create space by just taking the right cut in the open field and getting laterally at the kind of right moment. And he's also a finisher where he's going to lower his head. He's going to be violent at the end of his runs. He's not going to go down easily. So he's fun all the way around in that way. And I feel like his running gait is part of what sort of ends up helping him in creating some of that, yak ability in what he does. He's a little bit to me like a David Njoku light. Not quite to maybe where David Njoku was, but there's a lot of similarities, I think, between the two of those guys. He's also a tremendous blocker, a real close to grade A blocker for the position. Very, very young as well. Kid's just a baby coming out right now here into the sport. And a guy that's one of the maybe fewer tight ends in this draft that I think does really purely fit is also being that fullback type that we're going to need to this offense, where he's not a 6'5", 6'6" guy, where he's got at least enough size there around the 6'3" size-ish to where that's close enough to historical fullback size norms. And the reason you don't want them long is because they're going to go in there and clear out somebody out of the hole. They've got to win the leverage battle. They got to get under the pads of the inside linebacker. You can't do that at 6'5", 6'6". That's why you don't see a lot of tight ends back in the backfield in that fullback role. But him being just a little bit not as tall as some of those other guys traditionally there, he's going to maybe be able to fill that in as well. So he gives you maybe a 2-for-1 in picking him. But he's a lot of fun to watch as a player. Plays really hard. He's got a big catch radius, really solid hands. There's not a lot there really to pick at him other than he's just kind of an awkward times looking prospect on tape. But I think he'll be fun. I would definitely like to see him drift down a little bit to where we pick him, because I think he might be picked as high as even in the second round at this point, where I'd really prefer to try to get him more into the third round range of things, and that'd be about the right value for him. But a player who would be a lot of fun on this football team. No doubt about that.